No, I think, look, this is I talk to the entire team, but I meet with the quarterbacks daily. I spend a lot of time with them every day. Yeah, every now. Yeah, even now. So, you're just transparent with the entire team about the whole draft process. You're trying to improve your team. The last meeting we had, I showed a picture up here of all of our area scouts, Joe, his leadership group that he mentioned. And, part of their role is to help improve our football team by creating competition. And then there's a human element, too. If you're sitting in there and you're in a receiver room and we draft Malik Neighbors, there's a human element to that, too. So I think you have to be transparent. There's a draft every year. There's free agency every year. We start out the meeting by, any new players that are here that weren't here last year, stand up. Any guys that were drafted by Joe and our staff, stand up. It's different every year. The teams are different. It's constructed different. But I think that open lines of communication, whether it's with DJ, whether it's with Tommy, whether it's with the receivers, the D linemen, linebackers, running backs, I encourage all of our coaches to do that because I think that's important to be transparent. And whether it's again free agency, draft, there's constant turnover. But so the communication lines are definitely very important.
Last night, actually, the first night when we were talking about Neighbors, the idea was presented to you, the idea that you were giving Daniel a weapon, and it seemed like it was almost like, well, it's a weapon for the offense, whoever the quarterback is. Is there a sense where you're now trying to build what you want from your offense and what you want from your defense? It's not necessarily a specific player, but it's also kind of what you believe now you want to have as far as what you're going to do offensively?
Yeah, and I think
you want generators. Yeah, people that can do stuff with the ball in their hand, whether that's take a jet sweep and go 30 yards or whether that's, run a double move and catch it 50 yards down the field to help you score points. Just to go back to Malik, I feel that he is that. Now he's got a lot of work to do. There's a big playbook to learn, and you got to try to slow it down for these young players when they get in. But anyone that can touch the ball, and they're, linemen can be generators too. In a different way by keeping the pocket clean, by getting movement at the line of scrimmage. So I wouldn't say that it's necessarily you got to wait to see what you have, and then try to move the pieces around and see where Theo, right? Theo, I'm saying his name right. That sounded wrong when I said it. Where he fits in, where Malik fits in. There's different positions to play. There's 5 eligible players on every play, and you try to use those guys the best you can. But they got to come in here and prove it, and earn the right to play.
Where does Tyrone Tracy fit into that kind of mold? And he's going to be 25 in November.
Yeah, I'd say some of these guys are older too, relative to kind of what people have been through the last few years, I would say, with COVID and all those other things. So some guys are a little bit older, but, he's a former receiver. He had a bunch of, in terms of yards per carry, he's been pretty good. He's an athlete that played receiver and then played running back, has some good production. We'll throw him in the mix. And, whether that's in a kickoff return game or whether that's at running back, whether it's the receiving part of it, we got to do a good job of getting him here and seeing where he's at and then trying to fit him into the things that, he can do well.
Are you guys going to add a quarterback in as an undrafted free agent? Do you intend to? Well,
I'd say is we'll have, for rookie camp here in 2 weeks, Pat, we'll have a number of players come in. You need to bring in a quarterback to go ahead and to operate some 7-on-7 and things that you want to do. So, we'll bring someone in, whether that's tryout, whatever it may be, and then we'll go from there.